Triodetic Building Products has won a prestigious Canada Export Award for 2005. The Ottawa-based company was recognized as one of Canada's most competitive companies in the global marketplace. It won the Small Exporter of the Year award. The company designs, manufactures, and builds innovative architectural structures. Bill Van Gool is the president of Triodetic. He joins me in the studio now. Nice to meet you, Bill. Thank you for coming in.
Pleasure being here.
This is a company that's been around for quite a long time. You have a rather famous structure that's been here since the 70s called the Cineplex, Cinesphere, pardon me.
Yes.
Give me just a brief background on Triodetic.
Well, the system was developed in the late 60s, and I joined the company in 1970. So, and that was one of my first projects, was actually to work on the Cinesphere. So it's quite exciting. It was new for me. I was just out of university, and this was just what I was looking for.
So this is a business that all of a sudden it's really started to grow, though, hasn't it? What is it about these structures that people are attracted to now?
Well, more and more architects are looking at freeform structures and innovation. The space frame structure as such is not as well liked at the moment. So it's a new thing, is to make more creative structures. And Triodetic has been able to adapt itself to this particular new market-driven type of structures.
Okay. Let's talk about how these structures actually come together, because you have a piece of material here on the table, and this is what basically they're all built out of, isn't it?
Yes, this is the common element. Now we do scale this structure or this joint up or down to suit application.
Okay.
But basically it's still the same system from the late 60s, just finding newer and newer ways of applying it.
Okay.
And it's a very simple system. We take tubing, we form the end with these grooves, and we can change the angle to suit the geometric pattern. So we can change angles, we can create domes or flat space frames, or also these new curved structures.
Okay. And that's basically it. It's tubes and joints, and you can create all these amazing things.
Right.
The Cinesphere that we've seen, you've done the structure out in front of Scotiabank Place, that great walkway that people take from the parking lot. You've done things all over the world, basically. Give me some other ideas that people might recognize.
Well, we did also a mosque, a very large mosque in Malaysia. Now, people may not have seen this, but it is one of the largest church domes in the world. We also recently we're in the process now actually of constructing the Rochester Museum, the Children's Museum in Rochester, called the Strong Museum. We
have shots of that. Let's actually go to those shots, if we can, of the Strong Museum.
Right. So this is an interior shot of that structure. And in addition to just building the structure we're so used to building these tubular frameworks, but you also have to have a method of covering it. And the covering was quite a challenge. And in this case, we use the technology that is normally used in the shipbuilding industry, where we see this as an inverted hull. And we have a program which we've adapted to the Triodetic system, but it gives us all these different angles, different shapes. This particular structure, just as of interest, has the tubular framework alone has 5,000 components, so 5,000 pipes.
Okay.
And each one of those pipes is different. So we have 5,000 different pipes. Each one of the tubes also has 11 variables, because we can change the angles on the end. We also have twists, we have bends. So you can imagine 5,000 tubes, 11 variables. It's quite a challenge. But we have, in the last year, we have changed our manufacturing processes to be able to do this. And we've also adapted the panel system to the Triodetic, but we had to invent a new piece of equipment to curve the supports for the panels. And because nothing is of constant curvature, so you have to build equipment that can do this variable curve. And I'm very proud of our staff. It's just amazing what they've achieved. And that's all happened in the last year.
What does being able to do something like that and change the whole way you go about making your structures do for your business now?
Well, obviously the photos speak for themselves. So we can now take that internationally and say, okay, we can do this. And architects are more and more, as I mentioned earlier, looking for these type of structures. So we can now jump in the marketplace. It's a little company from Ottawa can actually jump in the marketplace internationally and take on some major projects. We've gone from bidding on small projects. Now some projects are in the $5 million range, which is almost 80% of our sales to date. So there's a lot of that on the books. Not quite signed up yet, but that's what we're trying to achieve in the future.
You have won the Small Exporter of the Year award for 2005. Let's talk about the growth this company has seen over the last couple of years that actually got you to that spot.
Right. Because of our, 4 years ago, we set out a marketing effort to showcase the product. We had not done the Strong Museum, but yet we said, okay, that's sort of thing, we can do this.
Yeah.
And so I inspired the staff, and they all bought into this, that yes, we can do these structures. And so the growth has come from saying, yes, we can do it. Let's be creative. Let's find a solution in our system. Again, using the Triodetic system to do something unusual.
Okay.
So that's where the growth comes from.
That's where it comes from. I want to ask you a couple of other things because, you talked about the museum, the Cinesphere, all of these great domes and structures that you created. But your system can do a lot of other interesting things. Water slides and permafrost structures. Let's talk about the permafrost structures that you have for up north. Right.
We're using, again, the same system to build a structural platform. Which
we have some shots of this. Okay,
a structural platform. These are actually homes in Chukotka in Russia, the Chukotka region of Russia, and all these homes you see, they look a little bit like monopoly houses, but they all sit on triodetic foundations. And because it's a permafrost region, the soil, the ground is very uneven, it changes seasonally.
Right.
But the Triodetic frame has the capability of supporting the house and keeping the house together, regardless of what happens below, underneath the soil, or at least underneath this frame.
Right.
And so that's another market for us, another
How big
growth
is that market?
Well, we do about $1.5 million a year in these foundations. Some of them go to Alaska, some of them go to Northwest Territories, and several of the RCMP buildings in the north, in Nunavut and Northwest Territories, are sitting on Triodetic foundations. And then there is Alaska.
Okay.
Russia.
Russia.
And there's Greenland. There's many places that have the same problems. And this might sound ironic, but global warming, in fact,
it's probably helping your business.
It's helping our business.
Okay. We're almost out of time, or we are out of time, but I really want to show the water slide, and very quickly tell me about the water slide. There it is. Look at that.
We've done several of these slides. It's actually 6 stories tall. This photo may not do it justice, but it's quite an exciting ride for ProSlide. It was also an Ottawa-based company.
Okay.
And we've done, I think, in excess of 15 or so of these slides all over the world. There's a couple of them now going to Australia, and some of them are in Florida. So it's another market that we've adapted the system to accommodate a requirement.
Okay. And I guess one thing that we should point out is these are made of aluminum, but you are moving into stainless steel, which is going to open up another huge market for you.
And that was also another development this year. Last year, this has been like a tremendous sort of creative year for us. This is, for the last 35 years, been made out of aluminum. We're now making it we can also make it out of stainless steel, which means we can then build structures for very highly corrosive environments. So that's opens a market in the chemical industry. So we have to yet market ourselves there, but we certainly have the capability to do those highly corrosive environment structures.
Okay. Bill, I would love to talk to you again. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'm sorry we're out of time.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Triodetic is the company. They just won Small Exporter of the Year award, and Bill Van Gool is the president of the company. We'll be right back.